This has sealed my fate. I'm so sorry.
No, you're right. It sealed your fate in Fate Core, which is the game we're playing. Welcome everybody to the Hands of Death session 18. Thanks so much for tuning in today, Will. Love that you're watching us. Thanks for coming by. Hey gang, anybody want to tell me what happened last time we played? Because I need a refresher.
It's kind of a lot.
It was a lot. It was very intense, and it went places I did not expect.
Can I try? I'm gonna need someone to fill in my notes though.
You got this.
Okay. So previously we had met up with Joel. We had convinced him to give our point of view a chance that perhaps the Verdanthi fucked up, and that perhaps everything going on in Chandla was messed up. So when we were ambushed by Jude, I believe Jude.
Mm-hmm.
Things almost went very poorly, but then Florence managed to hit her the one time heart killer. Oh fuck, what is it called?
Killer Heart?
Yeah, killer heart art or whatever it is. Anyways, managed to subdue Jude, and through a series of bizarre rituals and Lilith essentially convinced everyone that she convinced Jude that she is the goddess Death. Convinced Joel that something is deeply fucked up and going on, but he's not really sure what's going on, I believe. And freaked Esther the fuck out, I believe, all the while Florence is going, yes. Meanwhile, resurrecting Felicity, an old friend of Joel and Esther's, and Felicity is now tied to Lilith because Lilith is Felicity's relic now because of this bizarre ritual.
Yeah, there's a ton of uncertainty in general right now.
Yes.
I have to say, that was a great recap.
Yeah.
This is neat.
Pretty good. Covered everything.
And with that in mind, our faithful listeners, I believe it is important for me to mention that I retract that conversation I had with Joel at the end of the last session. I thought about it.
So can you fill in where your mindset as a character is currently post your friend's been brought back and like we had a successful ritual? Like, what are your thoughts and feelings right now?
Yes, I believe so. Esther is kind of freaking the fuck out. They didn't think anything would actually truly come of any of this, and now they realize they played some small hand in what they think is essentially condemning Felicity to another death. And Esther is now caught somewhere between desperately wanting to stop whatever transformation is happening within Lilith's heart, while simultaneously having no one to go to, really, considering that Joel would go to Ophelia, and that's no good, and considering that Florence is actively pursuing the resurrection of the goddess Death and Lilith. And so Esther is deeply worried that Lilith is essentially disappearing. And I think that is Esther's current dilemma right now.
So good.
Yes. Very good. Okay, great recap. Thank you. Where are my things? There they are. Okay. All right. So with that in mind, we are at the small town on the outskirts of the Mosfana Woods, near where Joel's house used to be before Jude burned it down in an attempt to assassinate you and him. And you've just resurrected somebody from the dead. So where do we want to, like, come into this, gang? Because we could pick it up right where we left off, where, like, people are, like, still scattered and, like, everybody's kind of, like, on edge, except for, like, Lily and Florence and Felicity drinking a beer in the bar. or we could like cut forward a bit to like the next morning after everybody's had a chance to rest and like recuperate and like refresh themselves and get their heads back on straight. Where do we want to jump in?
I feel like we need a redo scene with Esther and Joel
Okay.
for what actually happens.
Okay, yeah, that's a smart call out. Okay, cool. Let me
And I
some
also
here.
would like to know how Felicity is handling the circumstances around her being tethered to Lilith.
Yeah, so she's like drinking a beer at the bar. She's still like looking around. You notice that there's a lot of times where like she'll like take in new smells and like sights, and she's like a kind of like a baby. You know, when a baby is born, they're like looking at everything, right?
Mhm.
She's like doing the same thing. So it'll probably hit her later, Lily thinks, but right now she's still in that moment where she's just like, I'm alive again, and she's like still trying to process that. The tether
Makes
thing.
sense.
Yeah, the tether thing will probably come up later when she asks you what that means. So we'll see how that goes.
Great.
All right. Cool. So, yeah, Esther, where do you and Joel talk? Off in the woods? Like you pull them off into the woods?
I guess maybe it's less that Esther pulls Joel off into the woods so much as like I think Esther begins leaving and
That's
Joel perhaps knows that maybe Joel is like, oh, I better
Joel
go.
ran after you just to
Yeah.
check on you.
Yes, he did. Yeah,
Right,
right.
right.
I remember now. Okay. All right. So Joel finds you like up against a stump in the woods somewhere. There's like a single shaft of light that shoots down through the trees in the afternoon. He's like looking at you. He goes, Esther, are you all right?
Not now, Joel.
I'm not sure I'm all right, if that makes you feel any better.
Oh, right. Right, of course. I'm sorry. That was that really Felicity?
It seems like it had to be. I don't know who else it could have been. Unless the whole thing's an illusion, I don't know. It felt like it was her. I could...
Illusions.
I could
It's
feel
not
like
really
it was
how
her.
Lilith works. Whatever it is going on in her, that's not how she works.
So then she actually did bring Felicity back from the dead. That's... Look, I've seen the Verdanthi do this before. I understand it's not, it can happen. But for somebody to do it who wasn't, I guess she was with us, he says. Maybe that's why. The power transferred or something along those lines. Maybe the fact that she went to Death's Realm at all?
But who was with you? Was it really her? Joel, that's what I've been trying to say. Those are not the same people. At least, I thought they weren't.
Esther, maybe we should talk to somebody who understands this.
No, absolutely not. That is worse. You do not yet fathom, but you will, Joel, that is the worst choice. That will erase her.
Well, he looks confused. And he says, all right. I don't understand why you don't trust Ophelia.
Can you remind me, Codex? Do we have any, like, the way we learned of Ophelia's doings, those were all in flashbacks, right?
It was after Lily drank the potion, she learned. But then I'm pretty sure that you described it to everyone, didn't you, Wendy?
Yeah. I mean, we could say that. I don't
Okay.
explicitly remember, but also I feel like Ophelia has like a political reputation as well.
Yeah, but her political reputation is good. Like, people like her
Oh,
as the
really?
as the head of the church.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
so
I thought she was doing crazy things out in the. No, she wasn't. You're
Yeah.
right. I'm sorry.
so I guess my question is that we don't really have any evidence of any particular thing happening, correct?
Other than Lily's claim that she drank a magic potion and then saw Ophelia being bad to her. Yeah.
I see. Well, I don't know how I can prove this to you, but Lily is convinced, and makes sense that Ophelia hurt her, and that's just not okay. I understand she's your friend, but terrible people hide amongst friends.
All right. That's ominous. But I understand. Something's happened and you don't want to get close to her at the moment. We'll leave her there for now.
That's all that I ask. Just time, Joel. Just give us some time to figure this out.
All right. It's okay. It's all right. Look, if Lily has the same abilities as a Verdanthia, or better abilities, since she didn't have a relic, that's something that needs to be explored, and it's something I'm not sure the hands should really be in charge of.
I agree with you about the hands. I disagree about exploring it. With every exploration, I fear she slips away. There's no more Lily, and there's only, well, whatever maybe was inside all along. Something I fear is terrible.
Esther, you can't decide for her who she's going to be.
Suppose you're right, but damn it, neither can the professor.
He looks very uncomfortable. And he says, I suppose so. All right, look. We should head to Chandler still, I think. We can continue with our plan. I still want some recompense for what Jude did to my house. Something needs to happen there. I don't know what, but something. You all should show me what you want to show me. And then we'll talk. Look, I know people within the Verdanthi. I know people who are connected to them. I can get us an audience in a safe place where we could come to a diplomatic agreement about all of this. Maybe if the world really is broken as you claim, maybe there's a way to solve this amicably, peacefully.
Joel, you know Marith far better than I do. Does he seem like an amicable sort of man?
He frowns and looks down to the left and he says, No, he does not.
Well, what you say sounds lovely, but let us also keep that in mind. It's a difficult path we're wending, and well, it means a lot to me that you're on it with us. With me.
He glances up at you, and he gives you kind of a weird look. But there's a moment.
Yeah, I think I put my hand on this.
Okay, all right, yeah. He looks down at your hand on his, and he looks back up at you, and there's a moment, Esther, where you can tell there's a moment of indecision on his face, and then it's quickly gone, and he says, Esther, he pulls his hand away. I think we should head back to the inn for now. We're in the dark about a lot of things. Let's take some time to get our heads in the right place, and then we can figure out what our next steps are.
Right, heads in the right Head's in the right place. Right. I'll. Excuse me, Joel. And I leave.
He watches you go and then heads after you. Nice. I love it. All right. Let's cut back to the bar with Felicity, drinking a beer with the two of you, Lily and Florence. She's
Really
like,
scandalous.
yeah. Oh, yeah. That scene. Yeah.
Who's sweating? Just me?
I didn't mean to do that.
The gentle hand touch of betrayal.
Orsa seems very nice.
Arazi seems okay. You don't even know his name.
It's even better.
Okay, so cutting back to the bar where Florence and Lily and Felicity are. Where is Jude in all of this? Because you folks had her like tied up, but then she saw what happened and she kind of like turned a bit. Like, what have we done with her? Is she still tied up back in the room?
We untied her. Yeah,
You did. Okay, all right. So she's there as well. Okay.
she's invested because she's interested to
Yeah.
explore more.
Yeah, I think she's questioning what the heck's going on, like all of you.
I'm raising my hand. Teacher, can I make a suggestion, everyone?
Oh,
to
yeah.
the class. Can Jude be like in the corner, like of the bar, just sort of like there's a drink perhaps in her hand, but she's just kind of staring at Lily.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly where I was going.
I love that.
Like she's staring at Lily and she like flicks over to Felicity every now and then. It like goes back and forth between the two of you. She's just like unsure. So Felicity is there. She's got like a mug of beer in her hand, two hands wrapped around it. She's like looking around everywhere. She's like, wow, it's kind of surreal. Cause like for a long time I was feeling nothing at all, and now I'm feeling like everything again. It's pretty wild.
Does it taste good? How are your taste buds?
Fine, I think. She like takes a sip of the beer.
I watch intently in just fascination and excitement.
Yeah, I'm all right. It tastes fine. I don't feel wrong or anything. I feel great.
Florence is over here like taking notes in her little journal that she's got, and she's like, she keeps asking Lilith to like go get a drink and like kind of like measuring the distance and seeing how like elastic it is, and she's like, like a specimen. Like,
Yeah, I mean if we're doing experiments, there'll be a few times. So Lily, when you get far enough away from Felicity, you can feel like the tether tugging you back a little bit, but you're not constrained by it, so you can pull her along, right? It's like there's a lighter force on the other end of a string, and you can pull her along in that way. So if you took off running at like breakneck pace, you know that Felicity would like get dragged along with you, behind you.
Uh-oh, you guys know how I love to run.
you know how I love to send you on errands. Oh boy.
The distance is about 15 to 20 feet before the tether really starts to pull.
Mm-hmm.
Felicity like turns to look at the both of you and she says, what happens now? Like, what am I supposed to do now? What does this mean?
That is a excellent question. Lilith, what do you think we should do?
I take a big swig of beer. That's a great question. You know, it's times like this I wish we were closer to a library,
Wow,
but
you
I'm
really
just
said it
so
deeply.
happy you're here. And I hold my glass up and try to cheers Felicity.
She cheers you back. She like clinks the glass and she says, I imagine a lot has changed since I've been away.
Felicity, I want you to know that no matter what, I want you to live a happy life and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that this is all for the best. I know it
I don't
is.
want to
It's
promise
for the
too
best.
much, just
No,
in case.
it's for the best. It's for the best. I take a sip of my beer.
She nods and she says, "All right, well, sure, whatever you say. I mean, you brought me back, so you know, whatever you need from me."
At the moment, it seems like you and Lily can't separate too much. So we are heading back to Chanla. You want to come with us, right?
She looks at you. She says, "Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'd love to see what happens to the city since I've been gone. I don't know. Has it changed a lot?
It's changed quite a bit.
Oh man.
I think a general like full synopsis recap would be happening at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, so you two would like tell
Hours.
everything. All right. Okay, that takes a
I
while.
think Florence would. Yeah.
So by the time that's like done or getting close to done, Esther and Joel have like come back into the inn.
Perfect.
And can see this like scene transpiring. Joel like looks at the scene and like immediately heel turns and walks right up into the room. You noticed he's been like not in public a lot since he's a Verdanthi, and he kind of finds it awkward if people like stare at him and stuff. So he gets out of the way pretty frequently whenever there are these moments.
Sense.
But yeah, Esther, you come back and you see that Florence is recounting this entire tale.
I think I go over to sit with Jude.
Okay. Yeah, Jude's sitting in a chair over by the corner, and she's pushed the chair up off the ground a bit while she's sitting in it, so it's like leaning against the wall and drinking a mug of beer. She's like looking over, glances up at you as you come over.
Hello.
What do you want?
No, you're right. And then I leave.
Whoa.
She nods and goes back to drinking and looking.
Anyway, so that's why your soul hasn't been reincarnated into a new body. We were able to pull you here. At least that's what I studied when we were looking at the rate of rebirth. And however, I don't know why you're attached to Lily.
Felicity like puts a hand up to her forehead and she's like, okay, Professor, right. Look, this is a lot for anybody to take in, so just give me a minute. So, that's insane. All right. So the world doesn't work the way it did before, and that's why I'm back. Okay, I get that.
Yes.
Wait, so what does this mean? I can't go away from Lily too far. Does that mean I'll die again if I do that? Like, what happens?
There's a lot up in the air right now. We're trying our best to put life and death back in its place. And that's what we're going to do.
But the Verdanthi have brought people back before, right? According to what you said, like they can do it.
Yes.
But you're
However, they were attached to what we call relics, and she like kind of points to her earrings, and they form an attachment. They're the things that you are attached to within your living life. However, in our I'm going to say it's an experiment in our ritual that we successfully accomplished here. We didn't use your relic because, well, we didn't know you. And it seems that your soul has attached itself to Lilith here because she was the one who brought you. There are some other people who can do this, but they're also the ones that caused all of the misbalance to occur.
Well, it sounds like they're the experts. We can't talk to one of them though, because according to you guys, they're not great people.
Well, they did cause this whole problem, so no, I would not go talk to them.
Okay. Okay,
However,
but
you have both of us here, and we are going to do our best to give you actual freedom and not this temporary new life.
okay. Well, hold on, hold on. Joel's one of them, though, right? Like that's what you said. He's one of them. So wouldn't he know?
I like turn around and look at Joel.
Oh, Joel's not there. He's up in his room.
Oh, sorry.
We could ask. We could ask. However,
We have a very long carriage ride tomorrow. Perhaps we can discuss that then.
Okay.
there's also another choice where if we succeed in bringing balance back, you don't have to continue living this second life. And you could simply be reborn when we accomplish that.
I could? How?
Well, and then I look at Lilith and I'm like, well, when she regains her full abilities.
Okay. Okay, she says, looking at you. She glances back over. You're still there, right, Esther?
I think perhaps I was just watching nearby, just close enough to listen, and upon hearing Florence say that, I storm upstairs.
Okay. As you're like storming up, Felicity turns and goes, Esther, whoa, hold on. Come back here.
Yes. Yes, Felicity.
Look, the professor's been giving me the runaround for the last half hour now. I could use, you know, she like looks down at the ground. I could use something familiar if you're free.
I wonder if we could find Felicity's relic. Esther, do you have any idea of what Felicity's relic might have been?
Felicity, I'm sure this is all very confusing, and I'm so sorry for, well, any part I had in this. Joel and I will try to do right by you, I promise. I don't know
Joel?
how, but we'll figure it out.
We all will do right by her.
Of course.
What's going on here? Felicity says. Esther, you don't seem really comfortable with this whole situation.
I fear my good faith was used against me, Felicity, and I just don't want people I love getting hurt.
All right.
I think Esther actually looks at Florence while saying that.
Florence stands up and she's like, do you need to talk to me?
All right, Professor. And I think Esther maybe like kicks down a stool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in fact, I think
You're going to have to roll athletics for that?
Yeah, I think Esther maybe like grabs Florence by the collar.
Oh.
Is this the part where we fight in public, or is this the part where you have a tantrum?
I think either's pretty good.
There's
So that's a question for the character.
Yeah, that's what Florence is saying. There's like a hush
Oh.
that comes over the crowd in the end.
Oh.
Everybody's like watching this transpire. There's like 2 or 3 other patrons in here, but like it goes deathly quiet as soon as Esther grabs Florence by the lapels, by the collar.
Professor, you walk a thin line with this religion of yours. And if it's a tantrum, then so be it. And I release you. You mislead her at every step. That you force me to collude with the enemy. Do you understand what you're doing?
Who's ever forced you to do anything? You always go your own way.
Do not turn this back on me. We are talking about what you have done and what you're doing.
What we are doing is making the world right again. And this was a necessary step to save your precious Joel. Jude.
Lilith,
Joel.
listen to
sorry.
the words coming out of your mouth. She's infected you.
What do I want to say here? Okay.
Felicity is like looking back and forth between all of this.
Would this be a better conversation in private?
Perhaps.
Let's go upstairs.
Lily, you notice a disappointed look on the barkeep's face as you head upstairs.
Well, I do you guys want me to join? Because I don't think I can leave Felicity.
I just start walking upstairs, and I'm assuming Esther will follow me.
Yeah, I think I just start going upstairs.
Okay, well, I look to Felicity. You'll have to excuse them. You know Esther, right?
What are you talking about? Come on! And she like hunches down and starts to sneak upstairs behind them.
No. So I grab her by the arm and like they just need a moment. They do this a lot. I'm sure you remember Esther's stubborn, maybe a little selfish personality.
Look,
And I promise you, their intentions are purely self-serving.
look, what? Look, I get that it's awkward, but this is about me. All right, I need to know what's going on. So
This is bigger than you. This is bigger than me. We are fixing the world. The world has been broken, and we're going to fix it. But for now, it's just you and me. So let's get to know each other.
she like
And then
glances-
maybe like the scene cuts.
Yeah. All right, Esther and Florence, you head upstairs. There's an empty room. It's Florence and Lily's room, but only Florence and you are in it now.
I feel like can we?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Florence, what setting? What? I feel like an empty room isn't quite it. Like I feel like where did we really go? Like was there a rooftop maybe or like?
There.
We absolutely went to the rooftop, but we went through Joel's room to get there, like through the window. We were like the whole way up.
You storm out, and like Arazi's like sitting on the bed reading a book. And he looks up, and he's like, "What is going?" And you're like climbing through the window.
Yeah.
Excuse us. Can you please describe the roof?
It's a pretty simple like wooden roof. There are wooden shingles on it that protect it from the rain. It's slanted on both edges, but the edges aren't steep enough where you would slide off. And there's like a very beautiful sunset breaking over the Mosfana woods as the sun just barely sinks below the horizon line. So you can see just the last few faint wisps of orange before nighttime takes over entirely.
Great.
A chimney puts out smoke to the left.
And yeah, Esther like I think like walks up to the chimney and just like rests a hand on it while looking at the sunset for a moment, not saying anything.
Esther, what is your deal? Why are you so opposed to Lily's to her destiny? This is what she's been showing signs of since we've met. This is what she's been called to do. This is who she is. Why are you fighting it? What, you're gonna throw a tantrum down there but not say anything now?
Florence, have I ever told you about the time I met Lilith? How I found her?
You found her and she was probably stealing something or, backflipping off a roof or something like that. I don't know. What happened?
Damn it, this isn't easy for me. Can you try for just a second?
I'll go on.
I'd been working on a new series at the time. wasn't going well. No one had been to my studio in weeks. And, well, things were starting to go poorly. But not as poorly as for the girl who I found in the gutter that evening.
My God.
Florence, she was starving. Nearly dead. I nursed her back to health. It took weeks. She doesn't remember any of it. She was too far gone. And I know I'm not the easiest to get along with, but damn it, I cared for her. And I do care for her. And I'm scared that I'm losing her.
Do you care for her, or do you only care for part of her?
I wear the same thing when I see you encouraging this otherworldly aspect, this thing about her. I don't think you and Ophelia by any means, of course not, but don't you worry? Do you not worry about who she is, who she was, and what she's being made into?
She's not being made into anything. She's becoming into herself. She's no longer the gutter rat you found. She's now something that is who she truly is. She's becoming Lilith. She's no longer the starving orphan you found. And yes, you gave her some food, you gave her a home. Good for you, but now we need to give her something that is more than a moment of kind-heartedness that somehow you found.
Just
I think that you think that I am shoving death onto her because I'm part of the hands of death. And yes, I see how you react to that. And every time we try a ritual, you think it's disgusting and horrible, but it is so natural to her. Isn't that bizarre to you? How these rites that we've studied for years and years and years that the Verdanthi gave so much to accomplish at the hands of unbalancing the world, she can just do?
I don't doubt that there's something about her.
Then why are you stifling it?
All I'm saying is that this talk of destiny, this talk of, like, some mandated future, this rebalancing, there comes a cost. And
A cost that's already been paid.
a cost that I think you do not see. And I would ask that as much as you think of your death, you think of Lilith.
She is death. I am already doing that. How much longer are you going to fight us? How much longer are you going to get in the way of something that is just trying to bloom? Lily's growing,
Oh my
and
God.
you are craving to something that is just minuscule as her perceived humanity. She's never been human.
And so it comes out. You do not even see her as a human. What? She is your god? Is that it?
Yes.
We're having a different conversation, the two of us.
Clearly. Whatever, Esther. You're gonna continue to fight this, continue to fight what Lily wants. You can do that. Working with you has been so challenging from the get-go, and you want her to be human. You want her to ignore all these capabilities that have that are just bursting at the seams. Fine, ignore them. I don't even want to look at you anymore. And Florence turns around. She doesn't like leave the roof yet, but she's just like looking somewhere else.
And I think Esther maybe also doesn't leave or anything, and maybe the two of them watch the sunset together, but in stiff silence.
What I like after some time has passed, she's like, I feel like the one thing we can agree on is we care for Lilith. And it's in clearly different ways. But I'm not going to do anything to what I see is actively hurting her. And I don't think what you're doing is hurting her either. She's going to choose her own way in the world, regardless of what we think. Da, da, da. Yeah.
I think Esther just kind of like, I think Esther nods and I think just finishes watching the sunset.
Cool.
All right. Fate points for the both of you.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Ooh, for fighting it out.
Troubles
Is that good?
compelled.
Like-
Compelled.
I feel like I've probably gone to a room, and I suppose Felicity and I are next door to each other or in the same room.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say in the same room. It's probably going to be easiest.
I feel like we need to. I feel like okay. I have a wild idea for Lilith and Felicity, which is I feel like Lilith needs to have some overconfidence in her capabilities and needs to try something regarding Felicity, without any of us present.
Yeah, well, I was thinking that too, actually.
Ideally, something dangerous.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking just
Oh.
more along the lines of meditation.
It's so calm.
Yeah. Well, it's like, what else do I have?
You can try meditating if you want. I'm down for that. If you want to try to do something else, let me know. I can.
Like expanding the tether, maybe.
How about I meditate about that?
Why don't you? Yeah, you can meditate. How do you meditate? Like, because Felicity's there as well, right? You two have talked a little bit. I'm guessing you've gotten to know each other slightly. You learned a bit about her past, like she was a painter. You know, she doesn't really remember how her death happened. Any other details you want to throw in there, Tony? Let me know. But she's in the room with you right now. So like, are you like crossing your legs and like closing your eyes and trying to focus, or?
Okay. Felicity, I think because I don't think any of this has been done before, at least not that we know of. So if you don't mind, you just get comfortable, but don't fall asleep. And I just want to see if I can't tap into something, maybe get some more information on you being here and us being connected in some sort of way. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, sure. Whatever you think, she says. And she sits down.
Okay. Maybe just for the sake of, I'm just grasping at straws here, but maybe just think back on memories of your life and occupy your mind in that way. So
She nods.
who knows what'll happen. Okay, thank you.
Close
So
your eyes.
I walk over to a window. I grab a little blanket. I sit on the floor, just in like a comfortable sitting position, and I close my eyes and just try and find like complete stillness. But the thing that I can like tap into when I'm talking to ghosts. I want to try and like flex that muscle, even though there's not a ghost nearby.
Gotcha.
And I want to see if anything stirs up from that.
Great. All right. So you reach out with this like sense. You focus intently. It takes a while. You're just kind of like focusing and pulling on loose threads of any ghosts that might be nearby. For a while, you just stare at the wall. And then slowly, without warning, your vision starts to cloud over and go black, despite your eyes being closed. Or not being closed. You feel yourself sinking down. And then you feel this, like, separation of your body hitting, like, a body of water, and water engulfing you. It's very similar to the same sensation you felt when you rose Felicity from the dead the first time. There's a rush of like wind and water that go by your ears, and then suddenly you're standing inside a building. It is cold, gray, and dark. You're in a hallway that has cobblestones on the bottom of it, high ceilings that arch and curve at the top, and a cold wind blows by you. You look around, you can see piles of ash everywhere. Behind you, there is an exit that you can see that leads out onto a barren ashen landscape. You can't really make out much more than just what's beyond the door. There's like a fog covering it. Ahead, you see a pale blue light glimmering faintly down the hallway.
I go to it.
As you walk forward, feet on the cobblestones, you pass closer to the blue light and realize you've come to a chamber that's open, an antechamber with a high ceiling. And in the center of this chamber, there's a circle of stone, which has a drawing, well, no, sorry, not a drawing, a carving of a being with like a long cloak fluttering out behind them, wielding a staff with their hand drawn forward. And from the hand come several strings that reach out from beyond the edge of the carving in the center of the circle. You can't see what the strings are attached to, but you can see this figure carved into it. And in the center of the circle, you see Catherine. She turns around to look at you, ghostly pale, but fully realized, not ethereal like a ghost. She's in her bodily form. She stares at you, a worried look on her face. "What have you done?" she says.
What is this place?
"What have you done?" And then there's a twinge in your mind, Lily, and you hear this word spoken in your mind, not in the room, but in your mind itself, and it says, balance. Balance. And you look at Catherine, she turns to look at you, and there's a moment where a single crack forms in her forehead, like a stone cracking. And then that caves in a bit. And you see within her forehead there is a swirling infinite mass of stars and blackness. She looks at you and she says, "Oh no." And then she collapses inward like a piece of ground shattering from an impact. The pieces falling into this dark infinite expanse. They flow inward and disappear, just erased, drained away. There's an energy that comes from this transference. It flows into you, up through you, and down the tether towards Felicity. The word rings out in your head once more. Balance. And then your vision ends.
So did Catherine's energy, you said it went through me, but then it kept going and went on to a tether?
Yeah, to Felicity.
To Felicity.
Yep.
Ooh, okay. Okay. Um, I open my eyes, or I come to.
Felicity opens her eyes. Did you get anything?
Um, maybe. Um, I get up and I open the door. Um, Florence? Florence, where are you? Hello?
I feel like at this point, Florence could have come down from the roof. It's up to you guys.
I feel like I shouldn't be here. I feel like you need to stake it out.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I feel like we're too busy like having like a moody stare at the sunset.
I call out, poke around, but I know I can't leave Felicity, so I just close the door, kind of disappointed. My little crutch is not here. Yeah, Felicity. So, do you? How are you feeling?
Fine, she says. I mean, better than I did. It's weird, you know, I can't really describe what it was like before. It's like I was wrapped in cotton, I guess. It's the best way to put it. But now I feel like I can finally see everything again. Like the like I was taken out of the box or something, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Um, do you see anything in the stars?
The what?
Come here. Come look out the window with me. Let's just look at the stars.
Okay. She like glances out the window at the sky, looks up at the night sky. They're great.
Isn't it nice being back?
Yeah, you're being kind of weird. What's going on, Lily?
I just one of the Verdanthi. I think there may be some sort of connection between you both at this moment. I'm just not quite sure what that is, but she was known as a celestial guise. Um, pause. Any what other powers did she have?
Uh, you did you ever find out? You guys never knew, I don't think, what
That's
other
correct.
powers Catherine had. Yeah, you never discovered it. You killed her too quickly.
Darn. Okay.
Rolled too good.
Yeah.
Um, but she led that. Was she the first
Yep.
Verdanthi we killed?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so. Okay.
And can you just remind me, in that scene that just happened, there were actually two figures in that space. There was the one with the cloak and the staff, and
So that was a carving that was on the floor that
That was a
Catherine was
carving.
standing on. Yeah.
okay, I understand. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I think it's time we get some rest and we can look into this a little bit more, but I did have a vision. So this is great progress and you'll everything's going to be fine.
Wait, you had a vision? What was it of? Did it tell you anything about me?
No, you weren't in it, but
Oh. Well, what happened?
I saw Catherine and
That's
I think I destroyed her.
you destroyed her. That's one of the bad people, right? One of the people that Florence was talking about.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, exactly. I think by bringing people back, it could be the key to destroying them once and for all. Like it's a good thing potentially. I'm just hypothesizing at this moment, but there may be a connection between the two of you. We'll just have to wait and see.
Okay, she says.
I think it's time we get some sleep. We're gonna have a very long day. You'll learn so much. You'll you'll be very well, seeing the city will be different and interesting.
Yeah,
I go to bed.
it'll definitely be a trip. She like looks at you. Do you just want to sleep in the same room then, or?
You've got your bed, I've got mine. I'm already like under the covers. I'm beat. This was a very exciting day. I'm glad you're here with us. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, she like glances over at the corner of the room. I'm gonna go take a bath. So, you think you could scoot the bed like a few feet closer?
I'll just take the one closer to the bath. That's fine.
Okay. She like walks over. All right. I think with that, we'll cut to like the next morning when everybody's preparing to leave. Joel and Arazi have like packed things up what little they can. Jude's up early in the morning. You don't know where she slept last night, but she's up early in the morning out by the carriage, just waiting by it. How does everybody else appear when they get down there?
I think Esther is like disheveled, like clearly bags under their eyes, and like just sort of like says hello.
Good morning. How are you feeling?
Okay. Do we ask those kinds of questions of each other now? Is this a thing? Do I have to do this with you?
No, I was just being polite. We can continue acting as standoffish as you want.
Oh, that's very good. I can only do maybe 2 or 3 people max.
I need
Hey,
to
Esther. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. She stops talking as soon as you walk outside.
Hey, Esther. I like do kind of an awkward, because we were never huggers, but I do like a little awkward like shoulder squeeze because I'm, aware of the tension. How's it going?
I think the moment you touch my shoulder, Esther has a look of like, it's,
Repulsion.
You gotta stop being weird around me. It's me.
No, of course, yes,
Can we just have a good, nice ride today? I'm feeling optimistic.
Of course, Lilith. Yes, of course. I'm just didn't rest well. I just need a moment. Maybe the carriage.
Good morning, everyone. Let's go to Chandla. It's gonna be a good day. I'm feeling great.
Maybe it won't do me good enough.
Felicity comes walking out of the end behind Lily, and she's like, she's like walking slowly. She's like, I do not miss the pains of waking up. She's like stretching.
Did you have any interesting dreams last night, Felicity? Just asking.
No, none that I can remember.
Okay, no worries. Florence, can I talk to you for just a second?
Sure. We should get in the cart soon, though.
Yeah, I know. I just want to like give you a quick private recap. We don't have to play it out unless you want to.
No, we gotta play it out.
All right.
I like to think that both of those sentences were in character.
Yeah, so I tried something. I just wanted to get some more answers, and I wanted to see if I could maybe tap in a little bit. And I had kind of it was kind of a major vision.
Florence immediately pulls open her notebook and she's like, "Tell me everything."
Okay, well, yada yada yada. But I think Catherine. Oh my god, am I being the worst role player right now?
No, you're being the best role player. Go, keep going.
She yada yada the soul destruction. I'm sorry, I was just in Seinfeld mode. That's all. All right.
No, you should tell me exactly how it is that like Lilith thought what happened.
I was in this room, and there was a blue light, and there was ash everywhere, and the world was destroyed. And I followed this blue light. I found a chamber. And inside that chamber, there was a statue and it had strings on it.
There's a carving.
Tethers.
Carving on the floor.
A carving on the floor. Okay. There was a carving. And there were tethers. Okay. I like nod over to Felicity.
Tethers. Oh,
But then
one tether?
on top,
Multiple tethers.
multiple tethers.
Okay.
And on top of it was Catherine.
Catherine. Verdanthi Catherine?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And she crumbled into herself and turned to dust. And then some sort of energy source came from her and then entered the tether.
She crumbled into dust.
And all I could hear was balance, balance, balance. Like, I'm doing it. Like, we are doing it. And Catherine, I think she's gone, like, fully.
Gone.
I don't know. Her body was ash, but then something came out of it.
What happened after?
It might have gone into Felicity, maybe.
Maybe. Any of the other tethers?
I don't know. No. I know it. It was Felicity.
Florence's eyes are quite wide at this point. She's like, and what are your general feelings about this vision?
I'm feeling optimistic, but I'm really not sure. All I kept thinking or feeling or hearing in my mind was balance. And that's what we're doing. The vision, it just said that I'm doing the right thing. I think I might need to bring someone else back.
Florence like inhales kind of sharply. She's like, you think we should bring someone else and that will create more balance? Are you saying you want to bring back everyone?
I think seeing if anything happens with Felicity is a good first step, because I'm not really sure what that was, but that's the only thing that's quite a mystery.
If we brought someone back and they ended up tethered to you again, that would be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I value my privacy.
But what if you tried to bring someone back and we had their relic?
Yeah, I mean, what if? But what if Felicity is a new Catherine? What if Felicity has Catherine's abilities, which who even knows what that is?
I will keep a careful eye on Felicity. But would you be interested in trying again tonight?
No. No.
Oh.
It's too much too soon.
Too soon.
No.
You're right.
No.
We should study.
We need to
so well. We should definitely study the results.
Felicity we need to figure this out.
I'm gonna
with her first.
compel the professor here. You're too old for this. You don't have time to wait. You need Lily to do this now.
Great. Okay. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, while you're figuring that out, I think Esther is maybe has some nuts or something, and is just leaning against the carriage with Jude next to them, and is like, okay, well, maybe you've actually been upgraded. Cashews, almonds, what's your pleasure?
Oh, so your friends get nuts. Great. She reaches into the bag and takes a whole handful, stuffs it into her mouth.
Okay.
Joel and Arazi come down with bags and they're loading the back up out of the carriage.
I take a step closer to Lilith and I put my hand on her arm. And I'm like, Lilith, I think I think you're right. I think we should try this again. I think so. You know that I had a brother, right? You know that he was very dear to me, and he was a
I
servant
take
of the
3
hand.
steps back.
3 steps back.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna keep going then. Um, I let you go, and I start thinking about him, and I'm like, everything I taught you about what's the word I'm looking for? About I okay, there was a hold on.
Thanatology?
Verdantology.
Oh.
Verdantology, everything I've taught you about verdantology, everything I've taught you about being a spider, about the hands of death, were things I learned growing up with him. And I feel like Felicity was someone we needed to convince Joel about, but Ethan, we could try with him. And I'm wearing our mother's his earrings, and instead of being connected to you, he would be connected to his relic. And if it caused more balance again, I mean, I feel like he would be delighted. What do you think?
Take the fate point, Florence.
I have too many fate points. Can we do something with these today?
I mean, you got 6, yeah.
If only they could be
mean-
useful for some sort of ritual.
I mean, it's just there's still so much we don't know, and these are people's lives. I mean, as much as I'm trying to reassure Felicity, I don't know what I'm doing. Are you
Well,
sure you want Ethan to be another experiment?
You said you had a good feeling about your vision. And if it's bringing balance, I mean, I believe you.
Would Ethan want this?
He devoted his life to the hands, to you. And if he can he's stuck in limbo being a ghost. If he can't be reborn, then yes, I think he would like this for his life.
I would do just about anything for you, Florence. So, okay.
Oh, shit.
Florence is like trembling. And she's like, but later, after we get to Chandla.
I don't say anything. I just walk back to the carriage.
Ready to go? Joel says.
Mhm.
I'm excited to see what you all have to show me.
Our carriage is so full.
Yeah, it's pretty full. It's 7 people in this thing. People are crammed in.
I think maybe in the corner, Jude and Esther are just like busy smacking down on nuts and actually maybe getting along surprisingly well.
Yeah, Jude like looks at you and she's like eating these nuts and she says, I'm gonna have to figure out exactly what I want to do when we get back to Chandla, since you've seen right to free me, but I think turning you into their hands right away wouldn't be the smartest decision. We should talk to Graham, Zoran. Moses can be a bit, he's a bit much in these situations, but Graham would have a level head about this, and he would want to help Lily.
Are you... Now hold on, Jude. There's something I wish to be very certain of. Do you mean help Lily?
Esther, whatever Lily is now, she's that way because of what the Verdanthi... She pauses for a moment. She could only do what she did yesterday because of what the Verdanthi did, right?
Psst.
Unless she actually is death, reborn, in which case we need to talk to Graham anyway. Because he's They're the hands. I mean, we're the hands. That's our goddess. Like,
No, no, no. Hold on, Jude. You're saying words I do not like.
Esther,
You-
I I understand that when faced with a destiny that you don't want to accept, it can be hard to accept it. But that doesn't change reality. And what I've seen here, it's a big deal. We need people who are very knowledgeable about this sort of thing to look into it. And the professor knows a lot, but she's she's I don't know what she's doing these days.
Well, she has her points of view, let me tell you.
Right. Graham is somebody I think who will be level-headed about it. He'll be able to get her resources, get her help. Maybe learn how to use her abilities to complete our mission, she says. Sans Joel, of course.
Mhm.
I think you should talk to him. And I can set that meeting up for you.
Here, I also have pistachios.
She takes one, cracks the shells open, pops it in her mouth.
Oh.
Very good.
I'll think on what you've said. Ugh. Every path seems like a bad one.
When you are in that situation, you just have to pick one and walk down it. It's the best way to go.
Oh, so. Did he bring any snacks?
No. Joel and Arazi climb into the carriage. Everybody climbs into the carriage. The driver gives a hearty hey-ya, and you head off. What? So good old-fashioned hey-ya. It's universal.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, all right.
Hey, yeah.
All right.
And then we all start singing as we go on.
What's this, graduation? All right. It is almost 4. Let's take a 5-minute break to get some water, recenter ourselves, and we'll come back and see what happens in Chandler.
Okay.
Okay.
Be back in a bit.
Does the board look funny to anyone else, or is it just me?
Looks fine to me. Does it? What does it look like to you? We're back, by the way.
Like
Hi, everybody.
half
It's
a page.
it's just gray. Like the picture of Chandla is off to the far right
Oh,
of the screen.
you just gotta right click and drag it over, and then resize it with your mouse.
Oh.
You
Oh my
you can
God.
use the mouse wheel to scroll it in and out. Yeah.
I've done this whole time.
Oh, really? Yeah. No, you just gotta move it over for yourself. There we go.
We're powerless.
Hola.
Yeah, if we were playing a game that was like more intensely using Foundry, you would have learned all this, but like we just haven't needed to use maps very much, so it's just been mostly scenery. All right, coming back into it here. Your carriage rides along the road to Chandla. You can feel the rough bumps as the wheels go over the ruts in the road from the many years that they've gone unpaved and untreated. You can see the sun rising high into the distance behind you. It casts light down on this kind of jubilant spring day. Birds are singing outside as the carriage goes by, and you eventually get down further and further away from the Mosfana woods, back towards the coast where Chandla sits. Of course, before you get to the city, you can see the pale blue light of the ghosts shimmering over it like a candle. And as you get closer to it, the first thing you notice is that there are more people outside the gate than usual. Usually there's an assortment of like merchants and travelers and other manner of people trying to get into the city itself. And the church guard will like check them and look for any contraband and let them in, right? So there's usually a bit of a waiting period. But this time around, you see the bright, brilliant colors of tents, red and gold tents, set up just outside the Chandlan walls themselves. And you can see an assortment, a wide range of soldiers dressed in various pieces of armor, red armor, gold armor, not made out of gold, but like painted to look that way with the colors. And they have a number of animals with them in cages outside roaming around. You can see all manner of animals. It's a menagerie. You see lions, bears, not tigers, because that would complete the joke.
Yeah.
There's cougars. Yeah, there's definitely cougars. Birds, that sort of thing. Everywhere. It is a cacophony of roaring and chirping. And I say this like there's a huge force, but there's really only a couple of tents. So like anybody looking at this is like, oh, this isn't Marith's entire army. This is just an introductory scouting force that's like come to set up shop here. Reason being, I don't know. Yeah, there's definitely weasels, Big Bear Will. Absolutely. 100% weasels.
Really sharp teeth.
Oh, they're so sharp. Ferrets are scary. All right, so the carriage trundles along until you get closer to the gates itself. And it's at this point that Joel says, I think we need to come up with a bit of a strategy here for how I'm getting through the gates unrecognized, because it's going to be very awkward.
Didn't we offer Joel a death mask?
You did, yeah. So he like reaches his hand out to take it. Because you folks still have 2 of those, right? So you have to become an old woman. Yeah.
I have mine as well.
Yeah. Jude slips hers on. She turns into the form of the older servant man from before. Joel puts his on. Felicity like looks around. She sees you like change forms, and she's like, "Oh, whoa, okay, oh, that's magic. All right, that's just magic. Wow. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Okay."
Sidebar really fast. Can you just remind me who Graham is?
Huh?
Like,
he's the leader of the Hands
he
of
was the
Death,
leader, right?
Yeah, Graham Zorn. It's Anna's father.
Okay.
He was there. He's the one who handed Florence the tickets to have you guys go to like the resort town.
Right.
Get out of the way. Yeah. Okay, so you're at the gates. You have the death masks on. I just want to check. Was there anything said on the carriage ride there, or was it mostly in silence or like the occasional small talk?
Small talk.
Yeah. Okay.
We didn't want to inquire with Joel regarding Catherine or anything like that.
I think we're a little nervous trying to get Joel in.
Yeah, I think that's valid. Okay.
Okay.
I think this is all very true, but I can't emphasize enough. I think Esther and Jude are getting along like surprisingly well. Like
You keep saying that, but what does that mean? Are you like sucking up to her or like
I'm imagining it almost like a Jude doesn't particularly care to like not care for Esther so much as like, you know, who's Esther? Like who is this person?
right?
But then I think Esther kind of has the same feeling. And then I'm imagining it almost like they have this similar sort of like well, who gives a shit who you are? And
Right.
because of that, they have this weird opening to bond versus everyone else who is like extremely important to either of them in either way.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. She's like, yeah. She's
Like
also
like they're the only ones who can like casually talk to each other about any given thing and it not causes a cascade of emotions.
Yes. Yes. She's also like focused on her mission as well cuz like she's coming back and she didn't do what she was supposed to do, right? Cuz she was supposed to kill Joel. So as she's coming back, you can tell she's thinking about how she's going to explain this. But yeah, so the church guard like looks in your carriage, glances at the lot of you, gives a look at your luggage, doesn't seem to see anything untoward. And as you go into the city, you can see that there are a number of Marith's soldiers. You can tell they're soldiers because they're wearing his colors, right? And they have these dogs with them that are like sniffing around at the carriage gates, like sniffing for something. They're like searching for something. And your carriage like rolls on by as they're checking other carriages, and you get into the gates of Trondla itself. The city is packed, brimming with people like it usually is, shoulder to shoulder, wandering about the streets. You can see the high blue light of the ghosts above everything. Felicity like sticks her head out the carriage window, starts looking around in amazement, her eyes like wide, looking up at the ghosts, looking down at the buildings and stuff, and she says, I can see what you mean when you say it's changed. Oh, jeez. Everything's different. This is wild. Well, so the ghost, that's from the whole world changing thing.
Careful, don't lose your nose.
She like pulls her way back in a bit.
And this is Jude's first time seeing this, right?
No, Joel's. Joel hasn't been back to Chandla in a while.
Joel. Okay.
Yeah. But Joel's like looking out. He doesn't have any emotion on his face, but he's just looking around, watching all of this. The carriage. Where do you folks take the carriage? Or where do you go once the carriage gets in town and stops and lets you out?
To the only place to go, Esther's studio.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no.
House party.
Okay, so the group of you walk through the streets, and as you're doing so, you notice that Joel is like looking around. Felicity is too. Felicity's like running up and down around Lily and saying, "Oh, I remember this street. There used to be a guy who sold little tiny sausages right out there." And she looks around, and there's like nobody there, and she says, "Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense." And it takes you a few minutes to get to Esther's shop, but you get there, and it is pretty much the same as you left it.
Joel, hold on. Can we go to Franny Beckett?
You totally could, yeah. You could climb up to Franny Beckett's manor in the upper reaches for sure. Are you doing that?
Listen, everyone. This suggestion, well, it may seem unruly, but I have something of a fan who has a comfortable sitting room, who I think so long as we plug a couple of holes I saw in said sitting room, would be happy to host us in relative comfort.
Jude like raises her eyebrows and says, "Well, that's good to know, but I think before we do any of that, we need to figure out what's happening with her." She points towards Felicity and to Lily, and she says, "Are you coming back with me to the Hands now?"
What if we were to discuss that, not in the carriage, in a comfortable room with beignets?
She sighs. and says, I suppose I can hold off my report for a little bit. All right, fine, lead on. Okay, so you walk through the city, climb up a couple of streets until you eventually reach the one part of town that is a bit broken out from everything else. There's not as many ghosts or people milling about. And Esther, you come back to Franny Beckett's manor, where she set up the show and the gallery. You can see that the house is mostly empty from the outside. There's like a couple of lights on in the windows. Hopefully somebody's home.
All right, everyone. Maybe follow a few steps behind me. Let me speak to her first.
All right.
And I go and knock on the door.
There's a few moments of pause, and then it says, no, you hear this voice from beyond the door that says, no, out of the way, Wadsworth, I'll get it. You recognize it, and the door opens, and you see Lynn's smiling face there, looking down at you. He has a glass of wine in his hand. He's peering down at you. He says, Esther! And entourage. Hello, Florence. Hello, Lily. Oh, covers his mouth.
We talked about this.
I'm sorry. I'm a bit in my cups. Franny's been showing me her greatest vintages she saved down in the cellar from before the war hit. Are you coming in?
Yes. Would you bring her here for just one moment? Just a teensy little moment. Just real quick.
Absolutely.
A conversation amongst friends.
Absolutely, he says, and he turns around, shuts the door slightly, and then you hear him, like, take a couple of steps, and then yell, Franny! That, like, echoes out through the house. And then there's a few moments where, like, boots come clomping up some stairs or across tiles, and you hear Franny Beckett's voice say, What is it, Lynn? What is it? I was just about to uncork the next... And she, like, opens the door. Esther! Hello, my dear! She goes over, puts, like, two hands on both sides of your cheeks, and she says, How are you? It's so good to see you again, you and your talented hands! And she grabs your wrists and shakes them.
Franny. Franny, yes. Hello. It's so good to see you too. I
was wondering where you went. Lynn went down to your shop to see how the pieces were coming, and you had disappeared.
Yes, just going and getting some special materials. Listen, Franny. I have a teensy little request. It's sort of a personal request, a little favor. I have some weirdos with me. I'm gonna be real with you, Franny. They're just a bunch of total nonsense, strange people from all walks of life who I really need to talk through a few pieces with them. And this is crucial. I need you to practice that famous discretion you're known for.
Yes, discretion. An armistice, then, is it? Yes? A little diplomacy. I love it. I haven't been in a diplomatic situation like this since we negotiated the trade deal of 63. It was spice beans, I think, if I remember correctly. I'll open another bottle of wine. Come, bring your guests in. We'll get situated.
Lovely. Yay.
Lawrence goes over to Esther and is like, did you just call me your muse?
Do not test me, Allegard.
It just kind of seems like we inspire you a little bit.
Right?
Well, I will admit no, wait, why am I having this conversation?
Right this way, Franny says. She, like, directs you all into the house. There's a couple of servants here who, like, watch everybody come in. They, like, frown as you, like, tramp mud inside. They take your coats. Joel, like, slips into this very neatly, and Franny says, we can do introductions after we get into the sitting room. Please, come along. Oh, she pauses for a moment. The sitting room? What am I saying? She claps her hands. The gallery, Esther. We'll have them see the gallery.
Yes. Yes, so the gallery that everyone's aware of and everyone is going to be so cool about. The gallery that there will be... Yes!
Yes. And
Eight.
she leads you through the house, back a bit, and into the gallery itself. Florence and Lily, you for the first time come into this wide open room that has, it looks to be very similar to a mausoleum. You can see that there are places around here for different pieces where they would sit. There's a couple of benches and a table for like sitting and discussing said pieces. And there's a wide window at the back that lets in the thinnest sliver of light. So the whole place has an eerie feel about it. Candles everywhere, that sort of thing. It very much resembles the Hands of Death and their gallery and their mausoleum. Like, not in like exact way, but it definitely looks like it was inspired by that religion.
Oh no.
Eight.
I'm very uneasy as I'm like looking around in awe. I go to Esther. I'm like, are you sure? Is this a safe place for this?
Hey, if there's one thing I've learned, hiding amongst the gentry is the safest place you can be.
Oh God.
Felicity's like looking around. She says, wow, kind of dreary in here. And Franny turns around and she says, it's for the art show that Esther's going to put on for me. Once they deliver the pieces, that is.
Almost done with the first.
Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait. And she pauses for a second. Is like, wait. She looks at Florence and then Lily and then back to Lind for like confirmation. And Lind nods his head. She goes, you're his friends. Yes? She walks up to the both of you. It says,
We're their friends.
oh, right. Sorry. They're friends. My bad. Yeah. You're their friends, right? She says, looks at the both of you.
Yes.
Yes, my friends who we will all be very chill and cool about.
I don't say anything.
So the two of you are, you know, you're in on it.
Muses, you might even say.
Oh.
Eligard.
Oh, I love it. Oh, if you have any stories to tell me about your experiences, I'd love to hear them.
We will gladly tell you all about them. Listen, we've been traveling for just a moment, so do you mind if I just give them a quick little tour and then to shake, maybe cozy into the place, and then we'll call you down and we'll gab and gab, of course.
Call me down, Esther. You're using my house. I want to hear what you have to say.
Yes, you're right. Maybe
Let me get a bottle of wine and some glasses, she says, and she claps her hands, and a servant appears with them like a bottle. She takes the glasses off of the tray, like sets them down on the big stone table in the middle and starts pouring this wine that anybody who knows wine can see it's like one of the finest vintages available. It's like from like 50 years ago. And she pours like enough glasses for everybody, starts handing them out. And she says, come on, drink, get to know each other a bit. I don't know what sort of disagreement you all have fallen into, but I am happy to facilitate its resolving. She like leans up against the stone slab and she's like, I'm sure I can be of assistance here.
yes, of course. Now,
Lynn
perhaps
takes a glass of
most-
wine and drinks it. Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you, Lynn. Well, I'm so happy to have you all here. Perhaps we should figure out who to go to or what to go to first. Seeing as we all
There
have...
is steam coming out of my ears, by the way.
Does anyone have any ideas?
Well, let's start with what the disagreement was, Franny says, looking between the two groups. Come on, how did it start? Joel looks a little uncomfortable behind his mask, and he's giving you a look, Esther, like, should I reveal myself?
Joel or Jolene, if whichever you prefer. You may be at ease however you would prefer.
He
Wait, can we pause
nods.
for a second?
Yeah,
Can we
yeah.
pause? Wait, Tony, I don't understand what you want to happen out of this.
I think what Esther is trying to do is force some kind of confrontation where multiple people can have an opinion and come to a conclusion as to what we need to do instead of just a couple of people saying that this is what we're going to do.
Right.
But I mean, okay, so backing up, the original plan that our new comrades all agreed to was that we would showcase why Ophelia is bad.
Yeah, and you could do that, but with Felicity existing now, there's like a decision point, especially with Jude. Like you need to figure out what you want to do about that before you do anything else, because Jude's like, hey, we should take Lily to the hands and get this figured out, right? So Esther dragged you up here to have like a conversation about this in a private place, but Franny is, Franny, so she's inserted herself into this conversation.
Perfect.
Oh man. Okay.
Okay. I feel like I've lost my vibe.
Oh no.
Sorry.
I think.
Franny like looks between all of you and she says, "Well, what happened? Let me know."
It's just a little personal. What about the tour? I thought we just came here for a quick tour and then we could be on our way. Right, Esther?
Shit, did I think that?
Franny pauses for a moment and she says, "Okay. Well, I can see that. All right. I'll tell you what. I'll give you all a few moments to get yourself in order, and if you need me, just ring. Okay? Nobody will disturb you. Just, do your best." And she like takes the wine glass and like pulls Lind out of the room.
Would there be an opportunity for me to slip something in her wine so that she'll actually leave us alone?
You could try, yeah, if you want to try to poison her. Let me see.
I mean,
here.
I'm pretty sure I have like a plethora of herbs right now. I mean, it could literally just be bad hearing, like dull the senses, like don't spy.
I think the best thing would be to give her something that's going to make her sleepy, right? So, you can do that if you want. Let's call that.
I mean, yeah, let's do it.
The difficult thing here, I think, isn't so much making the drug. I think it's getting it into her glass. So I'm gonna call it a burglary roll, and I'll roll her. I'll oppose with her notice. Well, she's gonna see you.
Then I definitely am going to tag an aspect. Or wait, what do I? Oh, did all my invokes went away when we changed scenes?
Most of them were different. The surplus of herbs invoke. Yeah, you still have that. Okay. Let me add that back in.
Can I tag that?
Yeah, totally.
Is that valid? Okay.
Put that back in there with one invoke instead of two because you just used one. All right. Yeah, so hit that button. The free action button for +2 or reroll if you choose. Okay. All right. I'm not going to oppose. So, yeah, you slip something into Franny Beckett's drink. Unless anybody else cares, nobody notices. And they both leave you in this room. This empty, cold, mausoleum-like room.
I turn around kind of satisfied with myself. I don't think they'll be bothering us. So I think, at least temporarily, this is a safe place that we can discuss openly.
Can we talk to players for a sec? I feel like some very direct decision needs to be made here, and I guess I
Yeah.
just don't know what to do about that or how to go about
I
making
feel
that
like it
choice.
shouldn't have been up for discussion
What do you mean? Like,
at all.
well, from my perspective, it's the players need to decide what they're going to do with Jude, right? That's really the limiting factor here. Because Jude cares about what happens with Felicity and Lily now, especially because you've shown her these things. So, like, what do you say to, like, get rid of her, right? And then after that, you could go off and show Joel whatever you wanted. But it's like, you know, Jude is kind of like the factor here where it's like, hey, you know, we're taking Lily to the hands, right? Or... yeah, because remember, up to this point, she was tied up and imprisoned, right? So, like, what are you doing with her now?
She agreed that if we let her go, that she would give us time before reporting directly to the hands.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that was, well, actually, was that no, that was after we had Felicity join us.
Yeah.
That was post ritual.
Okay. Maybe I forgot about that. So basically, you're hoping that she just gives you time to, like, get yourself organized and then comes back.
We had a conversation towards the end of session last time where she was down to, like, see what we had to show. And so, like, our goal, like, between Jude and Joel became one. As far as that was my interpretation of it, at least.
Okay, that's cool. We can say that then, unless anybody disagrees, but I think that's what happened. Okay, in that case, Jude will, like, look at everybody standing here in the room, and she says, I don't know what this is, or what any of this is, but I'll give you some time to figure this out. All right? And once you do, you can't keep the hands waiting for too long. I can't keep the hands waiting for too long. Look. And she, like, thinks for a moment, and then she says, come find me at the Four Armed Inn, all right? It's a little pub down on the South Street. You know it, she says, gesturing to Florence. Mm-hmm. Come find me down there when you're ready to talk, and then we can decide what's going to happen. But if you don't come in a day or so, I'll go back to the hands and I'll let them know what I saw. Is that okay?
Sounds good.
All right. She heads out then.
That's one less player. I feel like we just rapidly need to get people out of this, like, out of the party. There are too many people.
Okay, so what should we do about our new friend Felicity? Florence, you've got books and resources. Do you think that there's any leads, or is going to the hands actually something we should consider?
I don't think we should turn to the hands as a whole. If you feel like we should talk to Graham and that it could be helpful in any way, we could speak to him. I feel like convincing him will be much harder than convincing Jude. But you could, if anyone could do it, it's obviously you.
Even I agree with this.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't know how.
Well, we could do what we talked about this morning. But in the meantime, what we really should focus on is showing Joel the current state of Chandla.
Yes, I'm eager to see what's changed, he says. I mean, one thing's very obvious, but I don't know. I don't see how that's... I think that's preferable to people just being dead and gone, you know?
I personally don't feel eager to join the mass of ghosts hovering above the city in a ever-glowing light pollution show, but maybe some people will be excited about that.
I don't see much difference between that and going to the realm of death, to be honest with you.
At least they get reborn. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be speaking to you like this. Let's go.
Oh.
I wish we had, like, a log of, like, births. Like, look, no one's born yet.
Oh, I mean, you could go to the Census Bureau at the government offices and show how there haven't been any births. Like, I mean, it's a very obvious thing too. Like, you could like ask anybody in town and they would tell Joel that, and Joel knows that to a degree. Like, he doesn't, yeah.
I almost am like a carriage tour through the city. Like, look at the hospitals, look at the schools.
Or maybe we should actually like go to one of these like beacons, like close up. Like maybe we should like try to like take him up there, and like maybe
fun.
he could like hold Lilith's arm or something like that, and like somehow try to listen to them.
A séance? Yeah.
Oh, weren't we considering visiting our good pal Ernie?
Yep, you were considering going back to Ernie's place as well.
Forgot about Ernie. Ugh. Okay.
Can never.
I
Forget
love
about
going
Ernie.
up to these like ghosts. Let's go to the ghost.
Let's
town.
go to Ernie.
and then let's go to Ernie.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
I'm
I like
definitely
that.
in character right now.
okay, so what are we doing first, Ernie or the ghosts?
I think the ghosts.
Let's do the ghosts.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm down.
All right. So most of the what am I looking for here? The rods, I guess. The things that they're on are on buildings to keep them high up and above, that sort of thing. But there is a few rods on the edges of like these railings that look out over the city. There's like a high wall where there's like a park, and then it looks out over the rest of Trondla itself. And there are these metal rods that extend out from the railing of that wall, and a bunch of ghosts like hover out and congregate around there. That would probably be the easiest place to go, without climbing up on a roof. So you can leave Franny's house. We don't know what happened to Franny and Lind. We might come back to that later. And you head back to Trondla itself. Let me just activate this.
I guess I leave a note saying that upon the morn I'll have the first piece delivered.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you can leave that with one of the servants. Easy. No problem. You head off. Arazi like steps forward as you're leaving Franny's house, like looks around at the city, and he looks back to Joel and he says, do you mind if I head off for a few hours? I have some errands I'd like to run. And Joel like nods and says, no, not at all. Just meet us back at Esther's shop. You know where it is. And Arazi nods. He heads off.
Hold on. Why do they know where it? Excuse me?
Well, you did just go there before you went to
guess we did.
Franny's.
I guess we did. Okay. All right.
All right. So you head down through a couple of streets of the city and a little lower than Franny's house and get to this park that's like this wide open grass park with like a few benches. There's some iron lantern lights hanging around and the railing that looks out over and the rods sticking out from it where the ghosts congregate and hover around. Joel like walks up behind all of you. Felicity's like staring at the ghosts and like looking out over the city itself. She's been in a constant state of awe since you got here. You know, she's just like running back through her old memories and like trying to remember what's changed. Joel looks at you, Lillian, Florence, and Esther and says, so what's the plan? Just have me talk to them or?
No, we were hoping you would simply listen.
I just ignore all of you and I just walk right up to the pole.
Okay. You grasp it. It's cold in your hand. A chill runs up your spine as you hold on to it. You can feel the energy of all the ghosts circling around it.
Is there any... What is our goal in this interaction? Are we just showing...
Ostensibly, the ghosts would be miserable, right? So you're trying to show Joel that they're miserable, right?
I was kind of hoping maybe you could like seance, essentially just like, I don't know, try to listen to them and somehow maybe.
Because I can show my skill in talking to ghosts, but then there's no proof because no one can hear it but me. But so you're saying if we seance, I can.
Yeah,
like bring you guys in. Okay,
like
great.
you did with Catherine, right? You could let them hear the talking as well.
Let's do it. Okay. I feel like me and Florence are already like two sides of a circle, and we kind of like beckon everyone else around us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Joel and Felicity join hands. Esther, do you join in?
I think I do. Obviously, I join on Joel's other side.
Okay. Yeah. He takes your hand. And then there's a few moments that go by. Lily, you're gripping onto the pole, and you begin to pull in the energies of these spirits that are clinging to the metal pole. Go ahead and give me an empathy roll. We're going to call this difficulty 3. Shouldn't be too hard. The trouble is having it not overwhelm people. Yeah. Kaboom. All right. So there's a moment where like there's a cacophony of voices that reverberate in your head, and essentially what you do here is you turn yourself into a filter so you can let the voices pass through everyone in the circle so everyone can hear them. And there are everybody hears like this breathless breathing that comes from all of the ghosts. Even though they're dead, they still inhale and expel air. And then they notice that Lily is like transferring this energy, and one of them turns towards you. It's a woman who seems to be older when she died. She's floating there, just the vague form of her in like a dress, with like hair done up in a bun, and she looks at you, and she's waiting for you to ask her a question.
Would you like to be freed from this? Would you like to be freed?
Yes. Please. It's endless. It never ends. I want to come back. Please bring me back.
If we can't bring you back to Earth, would you want to go to Death's realm to rest?
But you can bring me back. I can see the door. You just have to let me through it. Why won't you bring me back? And then a couple of other ghosts start floating over to where she is, gripping on to her shoulders as well, looking at you, Lily, and you hear them start saying, "You can bring us back. You can bring us back. Bring us back. Please. I have riches. I have secrets. I can give you anything you like. Please. Please bring us back. I was a merchant in my life. I can connect you with some of the richest people in the world. I don't have much, but I can sing. I can sing for you every day. Bring us back."
I let go of the pole in shock. I don't know
The
if
connection
that does
the
anything.
connection breaks immediately. The ghosts just hang there silently now. You can't hear their voices anymore, just staring at you.
I can hear them though, right?
You can if you open yourself to them, yes. Yeah.
Okay, can I open myself up to them privately?
Yeah. They're still like it's a chorus of people now just begging for you to bring them back to life. Please. Please, it's been so long. Bring us back. Bring us back. Bring us back. It's just like it's this chorus of voices that grows.
I'm like, I put my hands over my ears and I like go into the fetal position, but I like don't close it off. I'm like open still.
Joel comes over to you and he says, "Shut it off. Shut it off, whatever you're doing."
But I want to. This has never happened before. I don't know what's happening.
Stop torturing yourself and close off the connection.
I think I stand up. I want to touch the pole again. I want to try and open the door for just one.
Oh my dog.
All right. Give me an empathy roll. We'll call it difficulty 5.
Thank heck. Okay.
I'm going to take the fail.
Okay.
I mean, unless you want to, whatever that's called, but
That's beautiful. I love it.
You
yeah.
you open the door far too wide.
Oh my god.
The ghosts surge forward towards you, Lily, detaching themselves from the pole, going towards you like a swarm of... It's like a green and bluish wave. They come crashing towards you. Esther and Florence and everybody who's here, you feel this deathly chill go over you. And Lily, you feel this rush of a bunch of spirits like rushing past you. You feel energy flow into you. You feel it flow down the tether to Felicity. And you know in this moment, Lily, that you could, if you wanted to, grab on to the energy of all of these souls and just repurpose it into something else. You could use them if you wanted to. But as it stands, the door is open and they're trying to get out. They're trying to be resurrected, but they're fighting each other for the opportunity. You watch, all of you watch, as the spirits in their spectral form start tearing and biting into each other above Lily's head. They start ripping off pieces of ectoplasm of each other. There's a massive fight that develops. Screaming and shouting echoes through your head, Lily. Give me a will roll. Difficulty 4.
No.
We taking the fail on this one, gang?
No, I'll tag that I'm wow. What am I gonna tag? Hold on. Yeah, I'm Death's daughter, a fiery teen who talks to ghosts, obviously.
Yeah, perfect. I was waiting for it. All right. So that gets you... Whoa.
Oh, wow. What just happened?
I don't know. What did happen?
Oh, I don't think I rolled.
No, I think the log
It's
just
from-
got confused for some reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
16 days ago.
Oh, this
Next.
module. All right. Okay. That's fine. We know what it was. So it was a 4. So that meets it. So that'll be a success, but with a complication.
That's fine.
Okay. So the ghosts like fight and bite each other, and the only thing you can do before you feel like they rip you apart is just close the connection entirely. Like you slam the door shut, you like stumble back, hit the grass, you notice like this stream of blood coming out of your nose. And then let's see, is there anything... Hold on. 1 sec, I gotta check something.
Who's sweating now, guys?
Me?
I'm still sweating over here.
Wait. Oh, I know what's gonna happen. Okay, so there's a moment. You slam the connection shut, Lily, and there is a surge of energy that goes through you, and you can direct it to either yourself or Joel. Who do you send it to? You have to send it to one or the other.
Myself.
All right. The spirit energy surges through you. It clings to your face, and you feel it peel the death mask from your face. And as it does so, the death mask like flies off of your face. Your form is revealed here in the middle of the park in Chandler. You're just like fully Lily Mortimer right now. Gwen is gone off your face. The death mask slumps into the ground, and then a heartbeat later, it rises from the ground and floats there, staring at all of you. Just a hanging face of Gwen looking at you. There's an eerie green ghost that forms behind it that you can faintly see. And a hand reaches up to the mask and paws at it a bit. Pulls on it. And then the spectral form vanishes, and all that's there is just the mask itself floating in the air. And it says, "What have you done to me? Where am I?"
You came through the door too fast. You guys were fighting. I don't know where you are.
What am I supposed to do now? What am I now? What am I?
I grab the mask and try to rip it off.
You pull it, but it just floats in the air. It's just a thing now that's possessed. What do I do? What the heck do I do?
Can I try and send it back?
Yeah, you can. Give me an empathy roll. What would this be? Difficulty 6, we'll call it.
Oh, God. Okay. Can I try and make it alive?
Well, hold on. Are you taking the failure there?
Yeah.
Okay. So you try to expel the ghost from the mask, and the mask in response like turns its mouth and just like bites your finger. You're like, you let go of it, and it goes, I hate you, whatever you are, and it flies off into the air and floats away into Chandla. It's gone.
I look back. My eyes are like huge back at my comrades.
Joel stares at all of you, and he says, well, this is definitely not natural, and they're definitely not happy where they're at. Okay, that was terrifying. All right.
I think Esther's
I like feel. I'm like
articulating.
feeling my body to like. I'm like trying to center myself. I'm like, where am I? Like, am I okay?
You seem fine, but you're Lily.
Yeah, I am. Okay, well, I don't know if that's never happened before, but there was a door. I opened it.
Joel, you see it, right? I don't understand what just happened, but this is all very wrong.
This is a mess. Florence takes off her robe and she like flings it over Lily's head to like cover her face.
Joel is like breathing heavily. He takes a few steps back. He says, I understand. I understand what Ophelia did now. In the ritual, I think. He pauses for a few moments and looks at all of you. He says, I think Ophelia was trying to make this happen. She points at you, Lily, he points at you, Lily, and he says, I think that she was trying to make you what you're becoming. But not in this way. It's too soon.
Too soon for
What? What are you talking about?
You're growing too quickly. I can kind of remember her talking about some of this. She mentioned to me once how she was going to raise you in the right way, slowly, so you would understand everything. I wonder if this is what she meant. I wonder if she knew what you could do, the full extent of what you can do now.
Ophelia is a monster.
Is she? And if she is...
The world is littered in ghosts. They're obviously wanting to be at rest or be alive.
Yeah, I understand. He puts a hand up to his forehead. She didn't tell us any of this. She never mentioned this was part of the plan. She just wanted to have you back, and that I understood. But this is something else. This is different.
Joel, what will you do?
I need to talk to Ophelia. I know that none of you want to talk to her. I understand. I understand now.
I grab my
believe me.
knife and I put it up to...
Okay.
I think I jump in the way.
Yeah.
I just jump in the way.
Okay. He says, "Hey, just calm down. Listen. I won't tell them about you. I won't tell her where you are or anything. But I need to talk to her. I need to know."
How can we trust you?
Lilith, this is part of it. This is.
This was not part of this.
I don't like what he's saying, but I believe if we trust him, I believe he will keep his word. This is.
And
Ophelia
if
will
he
need to be
betrays
dealt
us?
with. She'll need to be dealt with one way or another, and
And
better-
so will Joel.
But he looks at you and he says, "Do not look. If after I question Ophelia, I determine what I think is true to be true, then I'll help you put things back to how they were. All right? But I have to talk to her."
patience, Lilith. Patience.
I look over to Florence.
I think we should let Joel talk to Ophelia.
Felicity swallows hard. Is that gonna be all right? She says. I mean, this woman sounds like a pretty bad person, Joel. Aren't you in danger if you go talk to her? And he looks at Felicity and he says, "I'll be all right. I can handle Ophelia."
Just be careful, will you?
He nods. He takes a few steps back and he says, "I think this was good. I think this was good. I'll talk to her. I'll talk to her." And he turns. He walks off.
That was so cool.
Well, what now? Felicity says.
Al?
I'm sorry you had to see that, but if you had died any sooner, any earlier if you had died more recently, you would have been just like them.
She nods. She says, I understand. Look, this is a lot. It's all a lot, so I'm just kind of taking it as it comes at this point. I think I kind of have to, or else I'll go insane. So, What's next?
What's next?
Next is we
Right.
get out of the public eye.
Because I need all of your help with a certain project.
Arts and crafts.
May we adjourn to the studio?
Let's go make some art.
Yeah, I need to feed my cat.
Yeah, you do. All right. With that, then, I think the hands will head off to the studio to go help Esther construct their art piece. And we can see what happens if they decide to resurrect Ethan next time.
Ugh, creepy.
Woo! That was wild.
Good session, everybody. Yeah, I was I was looking at your character sheets. I was like, what's an object on your character sheets they can possess? And I was like, oh, the death masks. Perfect. So, yeah.
Oh,
So good.
that was so scary.
I am now officially vulnerable.
Yes. Yeah. Well, if you sent it to Joel, it would have taken his. So, either way, yeah.
I'm just too nice.
Oh. All right. Thanks so much for watching us today, everybody. Gonna take us out here. We'll be back. I don't. Can you guys meet next week? Can we do next week?
Maybe. Let me see. We'll have to schedule it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can figure it out.
Oh, I can. Yeah. 25th?
Yeah, I can.
Wendy? Hello?
I'm checking. I'm checking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. Sounds good. All right. See y'all next week. We'll plan for 4 p.m., but the time changes. We'll let you know and talk to you then. Have a good day, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.